Welcome, everybody, to the Breakfast Club. We have DJ Cheese, Christian Main the God, and Cheese Boy Productions. But scratch that. We're going with Crizzo96. Um, wow. I knocked out for probably 4 to 5 hours. So right now I'm running on about 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I was so excited about the things that God is revealing in my life. I've already taken a shower. So boom, done. I like saying boom. I'll put that down on my nose. Boom. So I already took my Zoprazidone. It says to take with food, so it might mess up my stomach. I'm not sure. But what I am sure about in something that God has revealed to me this morning just by watching the news is how precious life is. Because and some of these answers I just I wasn't ready to receive the information. But now some things are clicking for me in my mind. And one thing to remember is that our mouths can be used as a weapon, if you want to think about it dramatically. But I don't like to look at things as violent. I've always been a deflector of violence, I feel. And when you're living in an environment that you're unhappy with, you're gonna experience a lot of things that you're gonna have to deflect because you're not putting off an energy of acceptance of your surroundings. So if I'm in an environment where I'm not putting off that energy, there's going to be people around that can pick up on that. And when you're in that unhappy environment for so long, it grows like anything else would grow in the world. Okay? So, in my case, it was me being in California, not having the protection, not feeling safe, 15 years old, and I had to grow to protect myself. And along the way, there was a loved one that was there to help protect me. And my dad did all that he could. But when he noticed that my uncle was protecting me in his own way, it depressed my dad. And he didn't get to protect me how he wanted to. So, this is all psychological, and I'm just getting it off my chest. But about the preciousness of life, one of these little pills, say if it was of another substance, can have a dramatic effect on the human body. And just atoms and electrons and neutrons and all that. I mean, Einstein could figure out that something as small as the size of a paperclip could blow up into something that's huge. So, what I'm learning this morning is that life should be handled so lightly. And like I have this little tag right here from something that we bought. I think it was my wallet. And it's like the energy that it takes to break this little tab off. You can cut it and just boom, boom, click, soft. Or you can yank it with your teeth and get it in there. Boom, and then break it. So there's a different levels of stress that people put themselves in. And if you're in an environment where you're already stressed out, then you're taking your stresses and you're doubling them by doubling down on something that you're already unhappy about. So you double down, quadruple down, quintuple down. You keep going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Bigger, 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 bigger. Your problems keep on going. You're not saying anything about it. You're not doing anything about it. Why? Because, number 3, you don't think there's anything wrong. Or psychotic manipulation to say, this is the environment that you have to live in. You don't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. It was only one tightrope for me to walk on. And I walked on that tightrope for 10 years. And it's killed my mom. It killed my uncle. And now, who's responsible for not doing anything when you're walking on a tightrope if they love you? Do you let that person go on the tightrope alone? And if they fall, they fall. But as they succeed, you cheer them on. This is very important information because this is an analogy that's used in my life. And you forget about the preciousness of life when you're walking on that tightrope, because it's all about perfection. I was reading something last night after I recorded the second video, and I was looking up how do I make my thoughts be quicker? How do I make it more active and and how do I make it more uh, just rapid thinking, like boom, boom, boom. So it came up with a percentage. It's some law. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the description. But there's a 80-20 rule that 80% of the things that you do is by chance, and then 20% of the things you do is vital. So say if a doctor is working on a patient and the patient has this, that, and the other, as far as an injury or something. Like say that they were in a crazy accident. Well, first thing they're going to do is go to the vital organs, make sure those are intact, and you check your vitals. So they check everything that's vital first, and then the rest of the 80% is like, oh, well, we can fix that after we take a break, or after, we'll button that up in the end, this and that. Now, that's a bad analogy as a person, but they use that in the electrical industry. Like, okay, in construction, first thing we got to do is erect the steel. After that, we have to put on, I don't know, what's next? The roof. So they put on the roof. Okay, what's next? Now we have to build the floors. So then they do the floors and the rebar, and it's structurally building. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is you have to have that foundation of growth, and you're only going to succeed if your foundation is done right and properly, and you start from the bottom, and you don't fly like a bird onto the corner of a building and walk on a tightrope, and you send your baby bird across that tightrope and keep cheering him on, because if he makes it to the other side, then he's a winner. He's hit the jackpot. No, you don't do that, because that's not looking out for your family. That's not looking out for the best interest of what, like, you have to have the empathy to know when something's wrong with someone who you love. And in the process of you being sent out on this tightrope, other loved ones, other lovebirds in the family, they try to guide you. Nobody says come back. Nobody said go back to Utah. Go back to where you came from. The idea came up, but it was always shut down because I let the argument play itself out. Part of it's my fault because I was the one that was taking the steps on the tightrope. I didn't understand how all this worked. I didn't understand that you need those building blocks to start and then grow. You don't start from the roof down, you start from the bottom up, blah, blah, blah. But in life, sometimes you have to walk across bridges that are unsteady and built poorly. We're constantly driving. Things can happen. But in the big picture of everything, you gotta have that foundation. And if somebody's driving you out from your foundation and saying, no, go on that tightrope. Go. Because in the back of their mind, you're going to eventually fall off. And they know it. Or maybe they were cheering you on to go walk on a tightrope. But the way that you were looking at life, you thought that everybody walks on tightropes. That's just part of life. We can't go backwards. We can only go forwards. And we learn from the past. But one thing that I won't do for a loved one is send somebody on a tightrope and leave them on there until 2 of my family members croak because of it. Because they're so stressed out that I'm not going to make it. This is psychological warfare. And dyslexia. And racial profiling. And all kinds of stuff. I'm just getting this off my chest. But one thing I do know is that life is very precious. And you don't go at it rough and roughen people up. That's why people get scared. It's like, if I walk into somewhere, I've always been able to pick up on other people's energy, receptive energy receptors. So now that I'm in a place where I grew up, I feel like I'm a kid again, and those receptors are opening again for the first time in a long time. I can barely open this left eye because it's been through so much pain. This is connected to your heart. It's closest to your heart. So if you're looking at somebody and they're telling a lie, this eye is your logic. So this is your heart eye. And it hurts. It hurts a lot because I've poured my heart out into walking across this fucking tightrope that when I fell off, I was gonna survive. But the idea that the OCD and the perfection is vital is just a bunch of bullshit. It's just a bunch of bullshit. So I'm gonna do a part 3, but I'm gonna get some tea. Alright? Peace.